Hello and welcome to the Women Becoming Their Best program. Today we have Miss Helen, a yoga instructor who's gone through her battles in illness, and she has used yoga to change her life, to heal herself. And Helen is going to talk to me about some of the techniques she used and how you can use them too. So let's go over to the interview. So hello, Helen, how are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
Well, I'm not too bad. I'm not too bad at all. Welcome to the Self-Help Hub for Women. And I'd like you to tell me, before we start, Helen, could you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a qualified yoga instructor with British Wheel of Yoga. I have done some other training with the American Association. And I've done extra training for yoga for people suffering from cancer. So I have a special interest in people who have got long-term illness or who are older, shall we say, like me. I've been into yoga for several years, and I was persuaded when I was in my 50s to take the Instructor course, which was a 2.5-year course. I was only about 6 months into the course before I was totally unexpectedly diagnosed with cervical cancer. And I had to have major surgery. But I was able to use yoga, breathing techniques and meditation to help myself recover. And I actually recovered. I was out of bed within 36 hours. I was off morphine. And I was wandering up and down the ward, and they let me out after 8 days.
Wow.
And although it took me about 4.5 months to get back to work, I got back and I'm fine. Everything's fine. But I used the techniques then, and they really helped. Firstly, at the stage of diagnosis, because I was in shock. And I went into shock. I could hear people, but it was like everything's going on around me, but I'm not really there. And I used breathing techniques to lessen stress, also to help me sleep, because once you get a diagnosis, there's all sorts of questions floating around in your head, especially when they use the word cancer. It's the dreaded. And what I did was I used it to help me sleep, so that I could practice the breathing, calm down, get the brain to stop working quite so fast, stop it running off in all directions. And then once you get the body and the breath calmed down, everything else goes the same way.
Fantastic.
And I use that because I don't really like using any kind of medications. I often use this for any kind of, for headache, for backache, and I have got a couple of slip discs in my back, but I've used the meditation to help with the back pain. Yoga helps with the back pain, because there's all sorts of really easy stuff that you can do just to help yourself. And if you can help yourself, you're not then reliant on medications and forever trotting off to the doctors. So what kind of, you've talked about loads of benefits that you've actually helped. So you've actually answered my first question, because I was going to ask you what's the benefits of practicing, but you've told us loads of benefits. Loads of benefits. And the John Hopkins University in America has been doing scientific tests. No, I was just saying there's all sorts of benefits, and the scientific community is now starting to take yoga more seriously. It always used to be, it's one of those things, but the science has got all the answers. Now they're suddenly thinking, maybe there is something to it. And really, absolutely, common sense would tell you if something's lasted 5,000 years, there's got to be something in it.
Something to it, yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
But it does help with things like building up strength, balance, flexibility, and slow breathing so that you can calm yourself down, relief from back pain, and arthritis, because you actually a lot of the exercises are to help keep flexibility in the joints so that it works on swollen joints. You only need to do little movements. It doesn't have to be anything extreme. But
and how often would you say people should practice? If they're going to be practicing yoga, how often would you say they should be practicing?
Right. Depends on the person.
On a weekly basis, like? I
would say at least once a week.
At least once a week.
Now, if that's a class, that's fine. If you do something online, you do an online session. But if it's a beginner, I would say you do need a qualified teacher to help you. And that's because one of the big things that we look at is body alignment. And you can't see that when you're practicing yourself. Even if you look in a mirror, you might not see everything. So if you've got a teacher, they'll come round and they'll help you get into the correct alignment, we call it. Yoga teachers have got this thing. I always have to warn my students that I go around prodding people. So I have to say, if you're new to the class and don't want me to touch you, say, otherwise I shall come and start saying, put that arm up a little bit higher, or move that shoulder back, or, that sort of thing. But once a week, if you can do more than, excuse me, if you can do more than once a week, that's fine. But it depends on the person. So you could do it twice a week. You could do 5 times a week. I wouldn't suggest more than 5, because you need at least 1 day a week for the body to recover, particularly if you're just concentrating on the physical. If what I tend to do is I've got 3 physical sessions a week, and then the other days I'll have, a few minutes meditation, or a few minutes where I stop and just do a couple of breathing practices. And that's all yoga. The thing about yoga is that in the West, when we say yoga, we automatically think of the physical. But yoga is actually the name of a whole system. The system has two strands of philosophy. It has the posture work, which is known as asana. It has breathing practices. It has like a concentration or withdrawal, so that you can concentrate the mind, and then you're coming to the meditation itself. And then the final stage is supposed to be where you're completely absorbed with the universe, so you're in complete balance. I have to say that even noted teachers often say that they don't get to that state, so don't worry about state number. But there's all of these. There's actually 8 different strands, and yoga is the whole thing.
So, when they talk about yoga, a lot of people think about flexibility and balance and all those type of things. A lot of people won't associate strength and becoming stronger to yoga. Do you think that you can become stronger and have more strength while doing yoga practices? And why do you think?
Undoubtedly, because in some of the postures you are actually weight training. For example, we do the plank, which they often do in the gym, but it is a recognized yoga posture. We also do things where you've got shoulder stands, you've got holding the postures, which will build up strength over time. People don't think about that because, they're doing something different. They think, there's, I'm not doing a push-up, so I can't be. Yeah. But actually, if you try to hold your arms or have your legs in a certain position for more than a couple of breaths, you'll soon find you're building up strength, because you need the strength to hold the posture.
Absolutely. I totally hear you on that one. When you talked about doing yoga, because I don't practice yoga per se, but I know when I work out, when I'm cooling down, I will do postures like downward dog and to stretch, actually use them as stretching postures. Would you say that it's more beneficial to incorporate it on a more a yoga practice as opposed to just something you do as a stretching or cooling down?
All of it's good, however you want to use it. I mean,
Okay.
the beauty of yoga is it's very flexible. If you just want to look at the physical side, that's fine. But there are these other branches as well. If you just wanted to go down the meditation branch, that's fine. But in the strict sense of the word, if you practice yoga, you practice all of it. So it's like it's a system for living, if you like.
Okay.
So it's a bit it's stronger than just doing one or other.
Okay. And what's the difference? What's the difference between yoga and Pilates? Because Pilates and yoga sometimes get blended together.
Well,
You know,
they
they
think
sometimes-
so, but Pilates was only developed in the early 20th century,
Okay.
and it was to deal with people with injuries from the First World War. So it was to build core strength, and their exercises are aimed at building the core strength and using your arms and your legs. Yoga is about dealing with the complete person. So you do
Okay.
the exercises which promote the balance and the flexibility, but you also do practice the breathing, which leads to calmness in the mind, which leads to the meditation. And so the calmness and the attention is more for yoga than for Pilates. Pilates, you do your exercises and that's fine. But they both build strength and they both build flexibility. So, you know, some people do both. But obviously I'm biased. I go.
Yeah, totally. Well, I'm going to say, thank you so much for coming in today. And if people want to contact you, where can they get in contact you? Where can they get in contact with you?
The best place to do it is on my meetup group, probably, because my website is not working too well at the moment. Or they can contact me by phone, or I've got Facebook page, Dorset Yoga for the Inflexible, and anybody can contact me on there. I do also do online classes from time to time, and I've got one on Monday, plug, which is free. But you know, if they want to contact me, they can find me on LinkedIn. I'm on there as well.
I'll be putting all your descriptions in the link below, so they will all have be able to see your descriptions.
And if there's any queries, you know, just contact me. It's fine. I'll get back to anybody who wants to know any more.
Thank you so much, Helen. Thank you for coming in. Wasn't that amazing? Didn't we learn something new? I mean, all this stretching and flexing. Who knew that yoga could actually build you strength, make you a stronger person? Helen, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed the show. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And all Helen's details are going to be in the description box below. So don't forget to check it out. And I'll see you next time. Rona at the Self Help Hub. Bye for now.